Hi, I'm Jim.
And I'm Steven.
And today we're going to talk to you about a year-end fundraising plan that's going to raise you a ton of money in December.
That's right. There is no more important time of the year to be going to your donors and asking them to help your beneficiaries or your cause.
This is your time to be mailing letters, to be emailing your donors.
To be making phone calls.
Yeah, we've actually made a detailed plan for you that we've seen work for a lot of organizations. Watch to the very end to see how you can have us review your year-end fundraising materials for free.
Okay, there are three main things we want you to do in the year-end fundraising plan that we have for you. And we're going to give these to you in order of importance, meaning if you can only do one, do the first one. If you can only do two, do the first and second. We hope you can do all three. But so first, number one, do a Christmas or year-end appeal letter.
The second thing you should do is do a couple year-end emails.
That's right. And third, you want to modify your website, if you have one, at the end of the year to make it really, really easy for donors to give, and we'll tell you how to do that.
Do those three things and you'll be in great shape. And really, the most important thing, Stephen, is that year-end appeal letter. So why don't you unpack that concept for us? What should these year-end appeal letters look like?
Okay. So you know the plan. I'm just going to take a moment here and tell you why this plan is so important. What you're looking at here is the average monthly income distribution for nonprofits. Look over here at what's happening in December. Almost a quarter of all giving comes in, a quarter for the whole year comes in December. That's why it's so important for you to be fundraising now, to be out in front of your donors now, to be sending them letters, to be sending them emails, to be having coffee with them, to be making phone calls. This is what we mean when we say that the fish are running. Now I want to show you a second chart, and this shows online giving in December by day. You can see that it sort of hums along for the first 3 or 4 weeks of the month and then skyrockets starting on the 28th. This is why we recommend that you do a year-end strategy. It's because so much of giving happens in the end of the year. And literally, I think it's 12% of giving for the whole year happens on the 31st. That's why you want to be doing an email on the 31st, if not more emails than that. Okay, that's the rationale for this plan. Let's get into the plan. Okay, here's an example of a Christmas letter. Now, a Christmas letter is a little different. It's sort of its own unique little snowflake of fundraising letters in that it can be the most general of all your letters. You don't need to be as specific about what the donor's gift does. You can be a little bit more general. So that's our context, but there are some things we want to do in the letter. You'll notice right away that if possible, we have some designs here that evoke the season. We've got the candles, we've got the holly. This is probably just clip art. It doesn't need to be gorgeous. It just needs to evoke the season. Then we want to reference the season, and then like we've taught you in other letters, we want to very early on ask the donor to give a gift. Will you shine your light this Christmas? Will you share your light to light another candle? Right? It's very clear that we're asking them to do something. By returning one of the gift certificates with a generous gift, you'll help provide food, life-saving medicines, and care. So again, even though we weren't super specific, we still talked about what the donor's gift does as opposed to sending us a Christmas gift. I hope that makes sense. Another thing that you'll see right here is a statement of need. There are men, women, and children who are waiting for help right now. It's really good to remember that we still need to say that need to the donor each time we talk to them because they don't know it as well as you do. The back of the letter is a pretty traditional letter, really. There's just a couple things that we've underlined. We've asked them for a gift. In the PS, we've asked them for a gift as well. Pretty simple, straightforward. The fish are running. This is getting your hook in the water, asking them to send a special Christmas gift. Now for your year-end email, we want you to, at the very least, send out one email on the 31st. You saw from the chart that we showed you why that's so important. And the best fundraising organizations are sending out at least 3 emails at the end of the year. And they're raising a ton of money by doing so because not everybody gets every email. So we're going to look at a couple example emails here from World Vision, an organization that many of you have heard of. And let's look at what they're doing. This first one here, up at the very top, just 4 days left to give warm clothing in 2012. Give warm clothing, get a tax deduction. It's a win-win, but hurry, time is running out. You notice that this is really a short email, and you notice also that they have this graphic of a calendar that's really helpful to visually show people very quickly what's going on in this email. Let's look at the second email in their email stream. Just 2 days left to give. Time is running out. Give where most needed and get your 2012 tax deduction. Again, it's a very short email. This is almost like a reminder to pay a bill more than it is to make a donation. We're not so much as making a case here as we are reminding them of what time of year it is and that there's a deadline rapidly approaching. That deadline is magic and will do our work for us. This email would have gone out on the 29th, by the way. And finally, we have the email that they sent out on the 31st. Just hours left to give in 2012. Just a few hours left. Give to World Vision and get your 2012 tax deduction. You can see here that they're not making a long, drawn-out case. It's another short email. They're basically just reminders to give a gift before the end of the year. I know this seems a little bit crazy because we're not making a case, but it works like crazy. If you can send out an email at the end of the year to the people on your email list, do it on the 31st. Do it around 10 or 12 a.m. Period. That really should be a minimum. If you can, send out 2 or 3. Send one on the 31st, send one on the 30th, and send one on about the 28th or so. That's best practices. You do that, and you ought to make a little bit of money from each email. The final thing we want you to do, and we know that this is a lot of work and may not be possible, but we're going to suggest it because it works for a ton of different organizations, is we want you to modify your website for the last week of the year. Almost anybody who goes to your website over that last week is going because they intend to give a gift. And if you make it really, really easy for them to give a gift, easier than it normally is, you will raise more money. We've tested it, we've proven it. This stuff works. There are 2 things to do. This first one that you're looking at is called a lightbox or a takeover, where we've grayed out the content, the normal content of the website, and in front of it we have a large call to action with a Donate Now button. That's the best thing that you can do to raise the most amount of money the last week of the year. Now, if you can't do that, you can do what's called a bump down. Now, this organization, what they did was they bumped their main content down about 6 inches, and above their main content, still below their nav, but above their main content, they put a video and a very strong call to action with a button to give. That is a simpler way to do it that many of us can get done. The strength of this is it's still, for anyone who goes to the website, puts a strong call to action and a button right in front of their faces. They cannot miss it. And again, if you do this, you'll raise more money.
Stephen, that's a great plan for the year end. And I just want to add a brief note regarding major donors. This is the time of year you should be asking your major donors for a gift, unless they've asked you not to ask them. Do it in person. Over the phone works. Mail is effective. Email tends to actually be less effective. Regardless, give your high-value donors a chance to help.
That's right. And if you have done a good job cultivating them throughout the year, if they know what their previous gifts have done, you're going to raise a lot of money.
We want to extend our offer to review your fundraising materials. And if you want to take us up on that offer to review your year-end fundraising materials and strategies, just email me directly at jim@betterfundraising.com. After the review, you're going to know exactly what you need to do to improve your year-end and to finish the year-end strong.